And this is happening everywhere. Hospitals are furloughing hundreds of employees.
We have notes from a number of producers saying that they're getting laid off at these hospitals, and the hospitals themselves are losing money.
Yes, and they apparently early on found a way to combat that. And this is State Senator Scott Jensen, I think his name. He's also a medical doctor. He's in Minnesota, and he explains the reimbursement for hospitals based upon type of ailment people have as it pertains to COVID.
Let me just say this. If I admit a patient to the hospital and they're on Medicare and they have just routine pneumonia for a diagnosis, the hospital will get a lump sum payment called a DRG, and it'll be about $4,600. If I admit that same patient and I attach COVID-19 to the pneumonia diagnosis, then it goes from $4,600 to $13,000 for that admission, regardless of whether the patient's in a hospital for 3 days or 13 days. If during that hospitalization, I put the patient on a ventilator for a period of time, then the payment goes from $13,000 to $39,000. Now that's a big payment.
So this is a little freaky, knowing that getting someone onto the ventilator pops up the reimbursement to $39K. And they're getting these ventilators, I don't know if anyone's paying for them at the moment. I'm sure maybe some of the federal stuff.
The ventilators were about $5,000, and they've jacked the price up. Many of these places that have canceled their contracts, and now they're selling the same ones for $15,000 because they could do the sales pitch. You've seen the Silicon Valley sales pitch for technology. Look, you're going to pay $15,000 for this ventilator. It pays for itself with one person on the ventilator.
Right.
With the $40,000, right? so now I want to add to this thesis of yours, which is to say, and the numbers prove this out, and I mentioned it in the newsletter about the 10% of the Italians that were dying of
COVID deaths,
was 10% of the total number. So the whole number in Italy should be knocked down by 10%. Maybe Spain's pulling a stunt too. In the United States, we have this ridiculous situation where California has very few COVID deaths compared to New York, even though with twice the population and probably 3 times the homeless population of New York. I have to say, and having worked in the government and worked with guys from New York and New Jersey at the air pollution who are inspectors of there, New York is corrupt. This is a scam. New York is stealing people's money, is stealing the money of the taxpayer. I'm not believing anything. I'm believing those movies they keep taking down from YouTube, showing the empty hospitals, and then the day before showing a staged event in front of the hospital as though New York's falling apart. New York is the problem.
John C. Dvorak's pet peeve of the day.
Always love a perfectly timed pet peeve.
Yeah, oh no,